I never felt like I was going to make a video defending Stephen A. Smith, but here we are. So this is about the NABJ award. He received the Thumbs Down award from them in their conference in Atlanta. And that's Association of Black Journalists. I haven't been to one of the conferences in a long time. But great black reporters out there. Shout out to y'all. So they had the conference in Atlanta. Interesting enough, First Take and Stephen A. Smith were at NABJ in Cleveland last year and Chicago the year before, and it was great marketing for NABJ. To put a spotlight on a lot of black journalists is a wonderful situation. Well, that's gone. So what happened was they gave Stephen A. an award. Stephen A. wasn't there, and they gave him the Thumbs Down award, which only went to a handful of people. And usually it's critiquing like an organization or somebody like Jason Blair from the New York Times who plagiarized. Like usually it's something really serious to give out that award. And they said that they gave him that award, the president, they gave him that award because he disparaged black women in sports, politics, and media. Now, first thing it says to me is, Stephen A., you can talk about black men all you want. We don't care about that. And Stephen A. has talked about black men for decades. It's like, yeah, you can criticize them, but don't talk about black women. It's like, how fair is that? Now, if they said, like, you've been disparaging black people for far too long, then that's a totally different question. And I could argue that he's disparaged far more black men, harsher, than he has for black women. I'll get into black women in a minute. So when it comes to black men, like a couple years ago, you remember he got into it with LeBron over Bronny. LeBron stepped to him at a Lakers game. Kevin Durant clearly despises him because they have beef all the time. He's gotten into this beef now with Jaylen Brown. Jaylen Brown doesn't like him. I think he had a beef with Allen Iverson when Steve was covering AI in Philadelphia back in the day, but I think they're cool now. But the absolute worst was Kwame Brown. Now, if you're a basketball fan, you know that Kwame Brown was not a good player. Number 1 overall pick by the Wizards and Michael Jordan, I believe. Kwame Brown was not a good player. He found a second career on YouTube. He's become a really talented YouTuber. That's totally different. But for like almost 20 years, like Stephen A. Smith was horrible on Kwame Brown. So bad, it just felt cringe. It was so bad. And he just now apologized to Kwame Brown in 2026. Now, if Kwame Brown would have gave him the Thumbs Down award, I would totally agree. But he did not. It was NABJ. So let's talk about black women. I think they're really in particular. They talk about Serena Williams. Stephen A. was talking about her husband, but he apologized to Serena for that. And that's the thing about Stephen A. If he gets caught on something, he usually apologizes. But I think they talk about Jasmine Crockett and they talk about Kamala Harris. Now, Jasmine Crockett lost to James Taylor Rico. And I could argue that Roland Martin was far harsher on Jasmine Crockett because he pointed out that she ran a horrible campaign because she did not crisscross Texas like James Taylor Rico did. Jasmine Crockett ran a horrible campaign. These things are a fact, and that's why she lost. And maybe Stephen A. had harsher language, I don't know, but Roland Martin, who's actually on the NABJ board, was far harsher on her. And then we have Kamala Harris. I've never been on the Kamala Harris train. Like, I know she's super smart, really talented and all that stuff, but I never felt like she was presidential material. When she ran in 2020, she dropped out before the California primaries. Her own state, she dropped out. And then down the road, Joe made her his VP. And then Joe waited too long to drop out. He dropped out. Then Kamala took over. But my thing has always been, Hillary Clinton is a moderate Democrat who won the popular vote, but lost the Electoral College. If they didn't want her, why would you think they would vote for Kamala Harris? I always felt that way against Trump. And she lost the popular vote and she lost the Electoral College. These things are fact. Now, maybe when it comes to black women, Stephen A. can go, because he always talk about how he got these sisters and he has 2 daughters and all these black women who work for him behind the scenes, which he really does. Maybe if you want to talk about black women, test it out in front of black women, because he's still going to do it. I'm going to do it regardless. You're still going to talk about black women, but maybe create a softer message. Test out what you're going to say on your show and see what they say. I ain't saying the thing I don't want now is for him not to criticize black women at all and always criticize black men, because that's not fair at all. We've been taking it. Share the wealth. But I digress. But if you want to give out the Thumbs Down award, NABJ could have gave it to MSNBC last year when they bounced Joy Reid. Now, Joy Reid's ratings weren't great, and she was going to get bounced eventually anyway. But they bounced Joy. They had bounced Tiffany Tucker before her. They bounced Melissa Harris Perry before her, they bounced a lot of black female anchors. They could have got the thumbs down award. BT could be showing NABJ all the time. Instead of showing 20 Tyler Perry shows, they could show like 2 hours of NABJ. But again, that crowd loves Tyler Perry, so you can't criticize BET. And BET used to have Ed Gordon, Tavis Smiley, Jackie Reed, nightly news programs, documentaries, sports shows, HBCU on campus. They used to have everything for black folks and music videos. They deserve a thumbs down. TV One could be showing NABJ. They're not there. But Kathy Hughes, I think she still owns, she's a black female, I think she still owns TV One, so they're not going to criticize her. Jason Whitlock is far worse than Stephen A. Smith. You're not going to give it to him. Mike Tirico finally kind of said that he's black, but he's not even part of NABJ. He's like the most recognizable black person on TV. He never talked about NABJ. The fact that you gave an award to the guy who's your biggest proponent, there's nobody else who's a major black media person who promotes NABJ like Stephen A. Smith. Not Tamron Hall, not Michael Strahan, not Craig Melvin, not Chanel Jones, not Nate Burleson. Nobody, none of them. So now you alienated Stephen. The thing about Stephen is, he said on his show that he's not, he still wants people to support it. He has issues with not the organization, just the people that's in charge right now. But he still says, I still support it, But I don't think him and his First Take is going to show up at NABJ for the next couple of years. And that was like free promotion for that organization. An organization that most black journalists in national positions don't even talk about. If I have any critique on Stephen A., he has to decide who he's going to be, because he is an independent. But the problem is he has two audiences. His Straight Shooter podcast leans kind of right, even though I don't think Stephen A. is a black Republican. I've heard black Republicans talk, and they're like anti-black all the time, and that's not him. Yeah, he might criticize black folks, but he's not that full-on Republican. So yeah, he's been on Fox News, but he's not really one of them. He kind of straddles the line. Now on the other side, he's trying to keep his First Take audience, which is mostly black males watching that show. But at the same time, you kind of alienate that audience when you kind of go like Republican and conservative. So if I'm advising Stephen A., it's like, dude, I see what you're trying to do, but you can't cater to two audiences. You got to either choose one or create a softer message where you're not going to alienate a bunch of people. This is why I say he probably need to talk to someone like Oprah Winfrey. It's like, how do you get so many people on your show and not alienate everybody? Which is hard to do, and she was good at it. But maybe that's what Stephen needs to do. Maybe he needs to make a slight pivot here and there. But as far as giving him an award, saying that he disparages black women, like, in essence, I totally agree with it. But he disparaged black men as well. And the funny thing is, Stephen wanted to talk to the president on his show, and she said she wants to talk to him in private. And the next thing I know, she's on Roland Martin talking to him. Now, Roland's on the board, but still, it's like, yeah, Stephen, I can't talk to you. Like, we'll talk in private. Hey, Roland. You can't make this up. Shout out to Kevin Samuels. So, what you guys think? Do you think Stephen A. should have gotten that award because you do believe that he disparaged nothing but black women? Or do you think the award is kind of off base because there's far more organizations that's done black journalists wrong, and far more people who have been harsher on black people, not just black women?